search involved there. Koepka in the wispy grass. Francesco back there in the fairway bunker, Steve.
The ball's rolled back just down to the flat a little bit. Not an easy layup by any means, though. He's going to have to carry this ball some 150 yards up over the expanse of this large cross bunker here on 4 and way uphill. He's about 15 yards up the hill from this position in the fairway.
This is a layup that gets your attention. Ooh, did that catch the lip? It did. It caught the lip. And he could be in big trouble. He may not have made it even to the end of the first fairway, let alone up to the second one. A hiccup from Francesco.
Easy to do, easy to hang back a little bit when you're trying to get it in that elevated, up to that elevated fairway there, and he hung back just a little too far and caught it thin. Catches the lip.
Koepka and Ricky trying to figure out if they can get on in 2 from there. And Brooks is getting mad and leaving. Fine, if you're going to use that sort of language. Or got to go up there and pick up a spot. This is what you were talking about, Steve. You can't see the landing.
It's completely blind from over here. He doesn't have to really go over that cross bunker. If he wants to lay up, he can. He's going kind of alongside of it to his right. I mean, it would only be a wedge and a wedge from this position, depending on his lie, depending on where that tree overhangs his angle. The front bunker here is not the greatest spot to be, though, because you only see the very tippy top of the flag. So he's going to want, if he's going to lay this up, it's going to be out to the right, give himself a nice clear angle for his third to attack this whole location in the front right portion of the green.
Yeah, and the green is still not clear. I don't know that Brooks has made up his mind yet. I love the effort of Ricky Elliott to try to jump. Yeah, he's going to need higher ground and then a jump. Francesco's ball only went about 20 yards after hitting the lip.
And Brooks is looking at 194 yards. It's going to allow Tiger to play first, however.
Yep, ready to go now from 210. On in 2. Now we'll see if it'll hang on. And it will. That for eagle for Tiger.
Taking those deep front bunkers out of play.
And this is the third now of Francesco, or was that Brooks' second? That was Brooks' second. Short and left.
He was able to get a tremendous amount of club on that ball. Hard to tell exactly where how that lie was sitting, but he got a lot more on it than he may have expected from the tee.
All right, here's the third of Francesco. He's still forever. 192. Yeah, that's just going to take off with a hybrid. A popular place at the par 5 fourth, but he's there in 3, Steve.
He has big issues there when you fail to lay it up properly on number 4, but hasn't short-sided himself. He's going to have to scramble a little bit to make his par.
And the folks trying to get in position now. They've come away from the clubhouse. They're heading even farther away. There's a halfway house after 5. I don't know if it's open right now. Make a pretty penny if it was. And of course the guy's waiting for the 5th tee, which is another great study in the Tillinghast angles. Koepka still leading by 2, and he's right in front of the green in 2. So disaster averted here, Steve. We could have had a ball search. We could have had worse than that. Instead, no big deal.
He short-sided himself a little bit, but these guys don't lay. Anytime they're 200 yards or less, they really don't like to lay up if they don't have to. He had a good enough lie where he could make it happen.
Well, and you talked about this back when they were over at 13. There's only 2 par 5s here, and that one is unreachable for almost the entire field, and this one is reachable for almost the entire field. You hate to give this one away.
No doubt about that. And so you take your chances and scrape it up by the green and hope you get a lie. He short-sided himself a little bit, but you know, if the lie is reasonable, he should be able to get this up there and continue his birdie streak. Keep the pedal down when you're making birdies. That's what I always say.
Yeah, and we've looked at the scorecards. Tiger was really close to 3 in a row, and Francesco got hot a couple of holes ago. Koepka is just merciless, steady and merciless. He hasn't, you know, he made 2 in a row at 18 and 1. Just doesn't do anything wrong. Sizing it all up. Would you rather be where Brooks is or where Francesco is?
Probably where Brooks is, because if he gets up and down, he makes birdie.
Okay. Look at you.
He doesn't quite have as much green to work with, but as Francesco does, but you got to like his scrambling ability.
And Brooks has just called timeout.
He's trying to judge the lie and trying to figure out, okay, where's my miss if this one doesn't come out.
There goes Bill Kratzert, our colleague here on PGA.com and TNT, and he's what he thought was a pretty straightforward situation. He's coming over to have a look, and I'm wondering now if this may not be an impending rules situation with Brooks.
There's an abnormal ground condition. Be a few things. He's going to let Molinari pitch up here, it appears.
He didn't want to play either. You know, people talk about speeding up baseball. We're going to get a little insight into that here in just a second. All right, Francesco's ready to go. Ooh, he's got that left for par.
Ruff just turned that club over a little bit, as it tends to do.
There's only been 1 bogey on the 4th so far today, and indeed Brooks had to ask. Not sure what he was asking about, but whatever it was, he never touched the golf ball.
The ball was sitting way down, and something that he appeared to maybe look like a hole to him, and always good to check. Just had to be a poor lie there. Just could not judge it.
So he will have to get that up and down for par, the leader by 2, experiencing the first bit of rough water here so far in his title defense, as we are pleased to welcome you here to our broadcast position a 7-time National League All-Star, but he is also the ambassador for the PGA Championship, former Met star David Wright. David, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Great to have
How
you
about
here.
Steve Scott? Have you met him?
No, first time.
You were looking for a golf lesson from
Yes.
Michael Breed yesterday. This guy right here can help.
Get me nice and toned up a little bit, huh?
Yes.
Always love baseball players and their athleticism.
Okay. Or lack thereof.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, Brooks, a former baseball player, and he's going to have that now left for par. What do you think when you hear everybody talking about how Brooks is, this might not even be his favorite sport. He loved your sport the best.
That was awesome yesterday. Yesterday, we went to over to the range, and Brooks was practicing his pitching and chipping. And he came over and we talked shop for a little bit. He wanted to ask a bunch of baseball questions. I wanted to ask a bunch of golf questions. So we were just ping-ponging it off each other. So it was a pretty fun day.
Well, we're right here in the middle of it. This is the group that everybody wants to watch. Have you been out there watching these guys?
We walked with them for their first 9 today. We went with Tiger and Brooks and Molinari, and what an unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, it was really special. I think I mentioned it. This is my first major in person, and be able to, pair up with that group for my first 9 was really special.
This is for Eagle. Here we go. That's pretty special also. Eagle for Tiger at 4. He's 4 under on his last 4 and leapfrogs to 1 under for the championship.
Maybe it was me. Maybe I was bad luck for him.
Yes. I thought you were going the other way with that. You sit down with us and look how things have gone.
That was within arm's reach, the front 9, and now he's turning it on.
Well, he has certainly turned the corner, David. Things have gotten better for Tiger Woods. 2 doubles on the card, Steve, and now an eagle.
He flips a switch better than anybody. I mentioned it before, and he just knows when to make it happen. Just like this man sandwiched in between us. Just knows when to make it happen.
Now Molinari for his 5. This would be a scrappy trip down this 4th hole. How about that? He didn't hit the fairway. He didn't hit the green. He didn't even hit it close. 5 anyway. Caught the lip of the fairway bunker, and that guy just doesn't quit. Had it not been for a pine cone between he and the 15th green at Augusta National, that might have gone differently. Koepka had a couple of good looks down the stretch of the Masters also. This for par. So he stays bogey free for the week and just continues to lead by 2. Ho hum. David, is there a baseball equivalent to a guy like Brooks Koepka, a guy that just keeps his head down, does his work, yet continues to excel?
Yeah, we call those grinders, and I think that's one of the biggest similarities between baseball and golf is you got to grind. Like, even when you don't have it that day, baseball, we play so many games. These guys play so many rounds of golf that, you find a way to compete. You don't feel good. You find a way to get it done, to put up a score. In baseball, scratch out a hit, scratch out a walk, do other things in your game that maybe just aren't, working for you. Find another way to win the game. And I think that's one of the biggest similarities with these guys and what we did was, being a grinder is probably one of the best adjectives that can be used to describe you.
There are tons of similarities, as you pointed out, and Tiger grinding right in front of us. He started the day with a double bogey, made another one at 17, and he's 1 under as he heads to the 5th.
Great par 4 here. Tremendous strategy once again just after number 4. You got to fit the ball down this right half of the fairway if you want a good look at this green. This green also sits elevated. You cannot see the putting surface from any part of the left half of the fairway, so a fairway is a must. You have to negotiate some of the oaks that sit on the hillside about 60 yards short of the green. A nice high fade to this back right hole location would be the perfect answer.
You make it sound so easy.
It kind of is. You just kind of hit the ball and you find it and you hit it again.
He makes it look pretty easy also. 3rd toughest hole on the golf course. Got to find the fairway. No problem for Tiger.
Beautiful shape there. Some 290 yards to cover the expanse of that bunker.
You know, you talk about grinding. Every once in a while, there's something going on in the business also that grinds. This piece of tape is just getting on my nerves. That was a loss for us. Nice recovery for Brooks. Recovery from just a par. At a par 5.
Molinari may have to take a little more conservative line left. Doesn't quite have the firepower off the tee. Averaging 289 for the year on tour.
Well, and maybe too conservative. Good call. When we come back, David Wright's going to tell us what being the ambassador for the PGA Championship is all about and where that credential has gotten him so far this week. Koepka leads by 2.